It's time for update news. It's been a while since the last Brawl Stars update, and we got a lot of things to talk about for what's coming in the next update. From hints from the developer about a lot of things that could end up happening or not. Also, you can vote on what maps you want in-game next, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know right here, right now. Alright, there's a lot of stuff to go over, from clues dropped by the developer in different tweets or just interesting tweets that he put out about Brawl Stars to some other stuff. Let's start out with how we know what one of the new environments is going to be. In fact, two of the new environments is going to be, and maybe one of these coming in the next update with one big clue. Starting out though with this video that was actually released a while ago on the Brawl Stars channel, the PSG video. If you look right here, you can see what is presumably the Brawl Stars world. You can see here different areas. You got the grassy sort of area, which we have a bunch of in like Brawl Ball grassy environments. There's a desert area with pyramids, which we maybe don't exactly have. There's some dry areas. In the back, it looks like there's mountains, and there's an icy area as well. We definitely do not have an icy environment, although we did actually about 2 Decembers ago. Oh, I got 2 of them. Let's go. Oh, the clutch super. We had one in game for about a week, and then they didn't bring it back last December. Not sure why, but that could be the icy one. But the pyramid one we don't have. On top of that, this music, which was put up by the Korean Brawl Stars channel for a tournament that they were doing. I don't know if this was on purpose or on accident. Maybe there was a language barrier, miscommunication between the main Brawl Stars English-speaking dev team and the Korean dev team. Maybe they didn't realize that this new song, which has not been released anywhere else, it's not in game or anything like that, it got leaked early. A lot of people thought it kind of sounded like an Egyptian theme. I don't know if that's what you guys think or not. I'll leave it up throughout part of the video so you can keep listening to it, and maybe you'll find the theme. Now, there are some really interesting tweets from the head developer for Brawl Stars, who tweets out a lot. But first, look at this one right here. And he says, will we add more star powers and or gadgets? Yes. That's right, new gadgets and star powers will be coming to Brawl Stars at some point. Just continuing on, it says, will we add additional skills? Probably not, like aka another button. People have been joking about that one since gadgets got in. We'll make a decision on balance changes after the monthly finals this weekend. So probably balance changes in a week or a week and a half, something like that would make sense as well. So not only do we know balance changes are coming sometime soon, but also that we could have 3rd star powers or a second gadget. Second gadget might make sense since we have 2 star powers. You could choose one you want, but 3 star powers, that would be kind of crazy. Do you guys think he'll do it? Let me know. By the way, speaking of gadgets, Frank also tweeted out what gadgets were statistically the best gadgets, or from the way he measured it, which brawlers had the biggest improvements in win rate based on when they didn't have gadget and when they did. And Jackie's was amazingly high, which is as we expected. Poco was also crazy high as well, which is a really good one, don't get me wrong. And of course, Dynamite, super bad, 8-bit, super bad. I mean, look, we did the tier list, link above. If you don't know how good all the gadgets are, you should check it out if you haven't. But we knew this. Now, there's one thing in Brawl Stars that is maybe not a huge problem, but it's a problem, and it does affect everyone, and it sucks when it happens to you. And that is when someone own goals on you in Brawl Ball. With random stuff happens, and people troll, and sometimes people own goal, and it just sucks. And there's no reporting button or any way to really punish those players.
A lifetime ban. No rematch.
Well, Frank the team lead tweeted about this and whether or not they would add a reporting button or not. I mean, he says right here, people want the report button. Sounds simple, but it's actually pretty complex. Now, I'll try to sum it up, but you can, of course, pause and read everything if you want. Basically, what he says is actually adding the report button itself would be pretty easy. It's really just managing it after the fact that's going to get really hard. First of all, they have a huge amount of players playing the game, and there would likely be an insanely high amount of reports, and he guesses on the lower side, at least 1 million, I don't remember if he said a day or maybe it was a week, but essentially 1 million reports every so often. There would be a ton of reports, and a machine would not be able to perfectly sort through them. They would need to have humans go through, and it would just be a ton of work. And in reality, there would also be a lot of people who false report, and maybe they just want to go, okay, this guy's a top player, I don't want him to reach the new trophy record, so we're gonna try to report him and get him banned because we hate him or something like that. There's stuff like that that could happen, and people would just report them, or maybe they, like here, they were playing Mortis. Yeah, I bet people would report randoms for playing Mortis 100%, or just for being bad, just because they're randoms.
Why are you so bad at this?
Now stay with me. He goes on to say that, okay, look, you can't have humans go through everything, so you would need a computer or some sort of algorithm to go through the reports and see which ones are actually corroborating and making sense. He actually says they actually do track who own goals. That's right, they do. They track every single own goal. It seems like, and they're collecting that data to make some sort of decision on it at some point. And it kind of sounds like they might actually dish out punishment, but to people who do that sort of thing, but not through a reporting system. It sort of seems like that they're really going to enforce it on their own and in their own way, but maybe they haven't figured out the best way to do that just yet. Another commonly requested thing in Brawl Stars besides reporting is adding voice chat to Brawl Stars. I don't know how I feel about that personally. I think it's probably a bad idea because humans can suck.
They're control 6ing my corpse.
But Frank also addresses it as well. He says, if we ever add voice chat to Brawl Stars, we will have to figure out how to manage toxicity first. No kidding. In free-to-play games in general, it's just too easy to make a new account whenever you get banned. People can make loads of your players churn in the meantime, basically saying the toxicity will make people quit while you're trying to figure out a good way to stop people from being toxic. Probably won't happen. By the way, another interesting tweet from Frank before we get into the maps. He talks about Underdog and the actual win rates and occurrence that people get when it happens. First of all, the regular win rate with no Underdog, 51%. Okay, fine. The win rate with Underdog is 40%. But Underdog only actually occurs in about 2.7% of matches. So out of every 100 matches you play, you're on average supposed to get Underdog 3 times, although of course it's going to depend really on your trophy range. This is for only from the 500 to 600 trophy range. He also goes on to say, with that win rate, with that 1 win and 2 losses, with those 3 games being Underdog, you will actually gain 4 trophies. But is that sort of matching the expectations you guys have felt from Underdog? I mean, I don't track my wins or losses whenever I get it, but it definitely feels like I lose majority of the time because that one person is just awful. All right, so here is the map contest that I was talking about. There's 3 categories: Siege, Bounty, and Heist. Those are the only places accepting map, and each game mode has a different theme. In Siege, you're supposed to make a map with 3 distinct lanes. In Bounty, you're trying to make a map that is good for heavyweight brawlers, because there's not a lot of maps besides Snake Prairie in Bounty that's good for that. And in Heist, they want fast games, so hard to defend or easy to attack. I know, great explanation.
Boy is genius.
Okay, we vote from 1 to 10, 10 being highest, and actually if you will notice, almost all of the maps have 1 as the highest number for some reason. I don't know if people are trolling or what, but there were 4,000 maps submitted and only like 70 got it through to voting, so people are a little upset their maps didn't make it. By the way, there's like 30 maps for each category, so I'm only going to show you what I think are my top 10 or about the best 10 maps for each category. All right, here we got a more unique one. I actually really like this one where you're kind of stuck in whatever lane you choose, but you can still shoot across. So I'm going to give this one a 9. It's definitely unique. I don't know how water does though in Siege, so that might be a problem or not. Okay, this one is honestly pretty similar to one of the other ones above that we voted pretty well. I think it's actually a little bit better, to be honest. I really like the grass patches. I think those are going to be really good for both offense and defense, allow for interesting interactions. Let's keep going. Okay, Created Factory. I actually really like this one. I like how you can stop in between in all different sorts of sections, no matter which lane you are. There's a lot of different places you can duck in and out of. I'm going to give this one a 9. I feel like the interactions here would be pretty good and enough grass to allow almost any brawler to work. Okay, now this one I really like, actually. Unique grass, different sort of pathing you can go. You can switch lanes, but it isn't easy. But you can still shoot across in different lanes. I think this one, again, deserves a 9. Not again, but it does. Okay, Real Canadian. This is a good 3-lane map, in my opinion, and it's one of the few ones that's super open. So it is 3 lanes, but a lot of them felt like 3 lanes and tanks only. This one can be 3 lanes, but you can have your sharpshooters and your throwers probably with the walls and some other stuff too. Oh yeah, so I gotta rate it. I'll give it a 9. All right, Scrap Field. This one also looks unique. I like how the lane sort of pushes itself sideways some, so you can have different sort of shooting angles, and there's a little bit of grass everywhere. I think this is one of the better ones personally. Also a 9. Okay, Eternal Brawl. This one also seems not bad. Personally, I think it's the middle's maybe a little bit too close, but there is some interesting angles. I'll give it an 8. Okay, Chaos Garden. It has some interesting grass spots on the sides here. And I do like the 3-piece wall in every section, not making it too snipery. But once you take that down, you totally can. So it allows a little flexibility. I think it's an 8. Now, this one would definitely be hard to switch lanes in unless you completely break open some walls. But even then, won't be easy. But I do like it because you can still help out your teammates to a small degree. I think it's an 8. Okay, last siege map before we go into either Bounty or Heist. Dusty Bud Social Distancing. All right, I like the name. And it actually seems pretty solid. I mean, you can definitely maneuver across each lane, but it's not easy. So I think it's an 8. All right, let's go into Bounty. Starting out, another Owen Reds map, Walloping Wallows. I actually think this one is quite solid. I like the pathing, although I'm not sure it's going to be as heavyweight as you would think with this open, wide stretch here where you're not really able to cross between any place undetected. I think once any of the grass gets down, it might open up a bit, but I still think it's a solid map. I do like it. I'm going to give it a 9. Okay, this one is really interesting. I like all the grass, and since it's super open, there's not a, I mean, there's a lot of 4 square walls, but you can check the grass super easily. But I just think the pathing is fun, and I don't know. I'm giving it an 8. Not explaining well, but I like it. Brawl Park. This does seem pretty cool. I like the wall sections, and I like how every single part of the map feels kind of unique. It does seem like it's mirrored diagonally a bit, which is good, or maybe it's just straight up down the middle. But look, I like it. I think this is a good one, a 9. Donut Plane. Okay, look, it's a Redux version of Snake Prairie, which honestly I think would be good. And also, I like donuts, and let's get a donut in Brawl Stars. Okay, Golden Plains. This one seems similar to one of the early ones we were seeing, but I do like this, and I do think it would be good for heavyweights with a bunch of different grass sections. And it's not just like long stretches that don't connect. It's all unique and different. I like it, a 9. Okay, now this one by Peach, I'm honestly not sure what to think here. I do kind of like the grass, and I like how you can shoot across pretty easily. And because there's so much grass, it'll definitely be heavyweight oriented, but there's not many places to hide. Not a ton of walls, even though there is a decent amount of grass. I think it's not bad. I'll give it an 8. Okay, here is a map by Biney Boy, and I feel like this one is really unique, and it honestly, to me, it's standing out right away from all the other maps. With the water, it opens it up to a lot of different types of brawlers, I feel like, and the grass is also, there's a lot of grass, but of course each section is broken up, so you can't just flawlessly go between different areas. You're going to get found out and scouted, and people are going to find you out. But I think the types of brawlers you can see in this map would be a huge variety, so I like it. I'm going to give it a 9. Okay, Tetra. This is also a pretty cool map. I like the grassy sections and the divisions between each area, allowing you to scout out or go in different places. It's not perfect to me, but I'm giving it an 8. Now into Heist, where the theme is fast games. Starting out with Base Race. All right, very appropriate name, but honestly, I'm not quite sure it's going to allow as fast games as you would think, because this middle section is pretty suffocating, and it would be relatively easy to shoot down it, and there's not many ways to dodge whatever attacks will come down that way. But once you get past that, it's super open and easy to get a lot of shots. Overall, it deserves a 9 for me. Okay, Semi-Sweep. This definitely looks like a map where it would be hard to defend. With the amount of grasses and walls, people would have a lot of ways to avoid you and just go straight for your safe. I do think it could be fun and allow for a different type of brawler, sort of like Hot Potato, with less walls, more open, less suffocating. It's a 9. Okay, now here, Charge Attack is a long-range map with the option for short-range brawlers because there's so much grass, but it's so open. I imagine you probably want at least 1 or 2 long-range brawlers to get easy shots on the enemy safe. This definitely looks like a really hard-to-defend map. It's an 8. Solid. On order this, tunnel. I really like the totally different divisions of lanes and allowing you to go in and out between them also very easily, and you can get relatively easy shots on the safe from a lot of different places. Definitely seems hard to defend, but possible to defend. It's a 9. Snake shift. This one definitely seems not bad. I like the grassy patches just on one side each, allowing you to either sneak around that way or defend that way because you know they're going to come that way. I think this is pretty good. It's an 8. All right, if you want long-range brawlers, all right, if you want a super long-range map in Heist, here you go. Boom, boom. Very similar to an old Heist map we had, which I forget the name, wasn't a game long, but it was like this. It was 3 lanes, and everyone played 1 lane. Although the one difference with this map is it's a lot harder on this one to get help from your teammates to shoot towards the middle or from the middle to the sides. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it is interesting, so I give it an 8. All right, here's another unique map, Roundabout. Kind of looking like that gem grab map, which I am just forgetting the name of right now. But I actually really like the grassy here and the middle section. I don't know, it's just a really cool overall design, actually. It's a 9. If you enjoyed this, check out another great Brawl Stars video right over there that I'm sure you will enjoy as well. That is going to be it for today's video, though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later.